Record to the cloud. Okay, so now it's recording. Yes, so today it will be more a general, but we will look in a very strategic way about the knowledge management portal that we are trying to put in place. As we are all aware, AFAS is about, it's a knowledge hub where we want to share and to disseminate our experience from different countries and regions. And the tools that you're using for that are very diverse. But in the recent, the previous trainings, we focused more on websites or on portal or blog, depending on what you are exactly trying to do in your country forum. So today it will be a more strategic discussion. Of course, there will always be some very technical aspects, but I won't go very deep in the technical aspects today. After looking at countries' websites, I've just noticed that uh, there are not enough progress there to discuss more on technical details. But maybe it's the strategic view and a general overview of the raison d'etre même of portals and that we need to discuss a little bit here and linked to what we are expecting, why we are asking country for us to produce some deliverables. So this is what I'm going to try to explain today. So this is a very simple introduction. The ideal web portal or website should have these three characteristics, if we can call it like that. So the first one is a very appealing homepage, and this is why we learned about using even the Elementor, because Elementor is a tool that is so flexible, you can do anything with that. And a homepage that gives access to a diversity of contents. We need the diversity of contents in your website. Otherwise, people are not interested. They will land there and they will just skip, they will go somewhere else. You need to put a lot of things on your homepage, something that is quite clear, structured, but you need to put a lot of things to attract people and to also give that impression that something is happening there and there's more to see in your website. So a nice design with a diversity of contents, that's the first ideal aspect of your web portal. The second aspect is the contents should be tailored to target different stakeholders group. For instance, when a policymaker lands on your website, he or she must see something that will interest him at the first homepage. Same thing with the founders, with the extension workers and the farmers. They should see something that is attractive, that is appealing for them, and that makes them click and continue surfing on your web portal. If you don't have anything on your landing page or your home page that attracts these different stakeholders group, then you might miss a new target. They will just go somewhere else. So how you do that? Of course, there are many ways. There is the menu. You can put a lot of things in the menu so that people are exploring and they see something that is related to what is interesting for them. Or you can put some articles, some photos on the homepage or some videos and so on, so that they will click on that and continue digging into your website. Then the third aspect, because we are targeting so many different types of audience, we need to diversify the content formats and make it as easily accessible, sorry, as possible. So diversity of content formats. When we say format, there's a reason for that. Not just text, not just videos, not just audios, not just photos or infographics, but you need to diversify because your audience has also their preference. So different formats and easily accessible. When we say easily accessible, it means you don't need to click 3, 4 times before you reach one specific information you're looking for. From the first click, the auditor, the visitor should access the content they are looking for. So that can be done through the menu, through the search box of your website, and your website must always have a search box. That's key. If you don't have a search box, you might miss very important visitors who are in a hurry, who are very strategic thinking, and who knows exactly what they are looking for. They will just insert the keywords, they don't find it, then they go somewhere else. So these are some just 3 things that we want to go a little bit deeper now. Here I've put a matrix of the different stakeholders group, and I've just put 5 of them to make it simple. But there are much more, of course. There are the policymakers or decision makers. These are key people. We can't avoid not uh, uh, calling these people because they will always be at some point the people that we will have to contact if we want to make some significant changes, some institutional, some structural changes. We'll call policymakers. So you want to target policymakers, and there are different types of content for that. You want to target also founders and donors because these are those who will fuel your programs, your projects. So you need to prepare also some content for these people. The extension managers, I separated this extension managers and the extension field workers or agents here because it's so important. At AFAS, we are focusing on the extension and advisory service aspect. So let's find the different types of people in that area. So the extension manager is more of an overview and more systematic and general, while the extension agent or field worker is more specific on working on the field with the farmers directly and so on. And all these types of audience have their different types of content they are looking for, of course, and which they are used to use in the past. Then the farmers, and this is also one very important stakeholders we are working with. This is the end beneficiary, but they are among the direct target of your portal or your website. Because if you can use your website, your portal to be a tool to reach that last mile, then it's a very powerful tool. Of course, it's not easy, and no, there are very few farmers who will look at your website unless there is something really relevant for them there, and the content spreads also quickly across farmers organizations from mouth to ears and across social media and so on. So let's look quickly what are the types of content. So for policymakers, the key documents, the key contents they are looking for and which should be on your website if you want to attract policymakers, are the policy briefs or policy orientations, advices and recommendations, and policies and strategies. You must put these things. If you have an extension strategy or extension policy, if you have any uh, key strategic documents that will be of interest for policymakers, you must put it on your website and share it from time to time in the policy or decision makers audience, so that they can be interested in visiting your website. Then there are, for founders, I'm picking two or three and the main type of documents here. Of course, a policymaker will be also interested in looking maybe at some cartoons or posters or articles and so on. But the main documents they are looking for are here in red with an X. So for founders, what they are looking for, they want to know if you really have a plan, if you have a clear program in mind, and have you already done something in the past that is convincing for them to support you? That's why they are looking for reports, case studies that has been written, success stories. So founders look at these documents. If they don't find a strategic plan or an operational plan or a project document, a program document in your website, they will tend to think these people, they haven't done anything in the past. If they don't see any report, any story, any case study that is relevant, they might think these are just babies, they are trying. We can't support them too much. We can maybe start doing some small things, but not very relevant. The bigger the program and the reports that you upload on your website, the bigger chance you have also to get that size of budget and program size. Also the articles, of course, they are looking for your articles and your stories. So what has happened exactly? Has it been regular? Has they posted some regular stories, or at some point they were just quiet and some dormant? So these are the things that the founders will look through your portal. Now, this is one part, but now let's look at inside from the extension side. What is an extension manager looking for when he looks at your web portal? Of course, they are looking for some policies, policy briefs, and strategies, and programs, and how you do things, you structure, and so on. But they are looking especially for guidelines, management documents, training manuals. I think I forgot to put in red training manuals, and reports and case studies, especially this one. These are the people who are overviewing the extension system. So they need to have some high-level documents to analyze. And of course, they also need to look at news and articles to know exactly what's happening. The news and articles and the stories, these are the daily lives of the organization. So people need to know, okay, what's happening exactly in this organization, in this country fora? What are the activities they are doing? What are the results? What are the stories happening in the field, and so on? And then we have the extension agents. What does extension agents look at when he looks at the website? What is he expecting to see there? Well, because he's doing a lot of work in the field and more on the operational aspect, they'll need some guidelines and management documents, of course, but more of training manual and the tools that will help them to disseminate knowledge or to advise the farmers. So some advice, videos, audios, fact sheets, cartoons, posters, and also they need to be updated about the latest innovation, stories happening in the field. So this is why we need the news and the articles and the stories on your website, your portal. For the farmers who are very few to visit your website, but if they find these things, they might come often to your website. If they find some videos, if they find some audios, some fact sheets, some cartoons, and if it's for especially for those who are a bit illiterate or lazy to read and so on, if they see something more on a photo, on a infographic aspects, they will come often to your website. So keep in mind when you develop your portal that you need all this diversity of content, and you need to target the different stakeholders group. Don't just think, okay, because I have this document, I will post it there. No, post it because you have someone in mind. Post it because you know that this is relevant for such type of group of people. So that's one thing. Now, this is another very important thing that I think through the last webinar, digitalization for AAS webinar, I was trying to stress this. We need in African countries where the farmers to the extensionists to farmers ratio is so bad, we need really some good contents to reach the mass, a huge diversity of people. Uh, and this is not easy thing because you have, of course, to prepare the content with the target in mind so that you can reach them. Now, how do we know that we are reaching more people and which type of people we are reaching? So this is now, let's go into quickly in a technical aspect. The tool that we will use to see how many people are visiting our websites and what is the profile, where do they come from, and so on, is what we call the Google Analytics. The Google Analytics allows to monitor your audience. And I'm going to quickly, okay, so I stop sharing that and let me share another screen now. Okay. So if you look on this if you search on Google about Google Analytics, you'll find that it's a tool that lets you measure your advertising, blah, 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 and so on. But in my case, it's already opened. And I will let you see what's happening inside, for instance, afasafrica.org. If you look at afasafrica.org, you'll see some analytics here, number of users, sessions, bounce, session durations, and you even see here when did it happen. So on the 1st of October, there was more than 150 people and so on. Then it was down and then again back and so on. And the trend here. So you know how many people are reaching your website during the month. This is for the month, for instance. And you see also where do they come from. So these are direct. The direct is here from emails, from social media, for organic search, and so on. So this will help you in analyzing how people comes to your website. And then also, yeah, you can see more those who come often, and the retention rate, the other things here. And here even you see how many, where does people come from? So you can see here that Uganda is the first country who visits this site, then Ethiopia, then Kenya, then United States, then South Africa, and we can see even more here. All these countries, even from Australia, you have 5 visitors. From China, you have 3 visitors. From Russia, you have 1 visitor, and so on. From France, you have 10 visitors, and so on. So through using this Google Analytics, you can, of course, monitor a lot of things. Here you can even see if they are using desktop computers or are they using mobile phone or tablets. And this is very important because for people who are using mobiles, they need a very specific responsive website. So you must improve your website to respond to their needs. In our case, we can see clearly that 75% of our audience looks at the website through a desktop, while 41% are looking through a mobile phone. And here even you can see more information like which page are they looking for. Most of them are looking here for a call for expression of interest for agribusiness consultant, and this is the home page, and this is for investment strategy, and so on and so on. So you can see bids and tenders. You have 40 views, jobs, you have these views, opportunities, and so on in the last 7 days. So these are just among few, but you have more information. You can even look at the gender of the visitors and so on through this Google Analytics. So this is one important thing. Please just install your Google Analytics on your website, and let me come back again. This is a very important thing to monitor the number of visitors. And normally at the beginning of your mission, you should monitor how many visitors you have. And then at the end of each month, you should also look how is it progressing and why is it progressing positively or negatively. And what are the strategies we are going to use to improve the reach. As we saw, people look at your website through a mail reference directly sometimes, or a mail reference, or from social media, or sometimes also through organic search, and so on. So this is why we are going now to talk a little bit about also the sharing and dissemination. As we know, the real raison d'etre of AFAS is to be a platform that facilitates the spread, the dissemination of knowledge and the exchange of knowledge among actors. And the actors on a horizontal geographical dimension, country to country, region to region, but also on a vertical dimension between policymakers to farmers. So how to make these things happen? There is one possibility that we can explore. In your portal, the content should be easily shared and disseminated. First of all, you have to prepare some relevant content. Of course, if your content is not relevant, people will look at it once, but then they will remember, oh, that website, I remember, there was nothing really interesting. So even if you try to reshare it, to be visible somewhere, people won't come back to you. you need to put some relevant content to share. That's the first point. And that's why we encourage you to target some champions in your country and work with these champions. Try to extract their brain and get the maximum from them. Value the innovativeness, value whatever they have that others don't have, so that when you share it, it will be a trigger for them to come back next time because they have found something relevant. The second thing is, okay, you share it, you put it on your web portal, but you need really to do a wide dissemination. And for that, just use a social sharing plugin on your website. It's something that is very simple to install and also very simple to configure. So each page of your website can be shared using the social sharing plugin. And of course, after, yeah, we are going to do that after. But after you've put the social plugin, sharing plugin on your web portal, be the first to share to your friends, to your colleagues. Be the first to share yourself and ask your colleagues also to, when they receive what you share, tell them to disseminate. If it's something relevant, they will disseminate. So make it funny, make it humoristic, make it sexy, so that people want to disseminate what you are writing, you're posting. Okay, down here, oops, down here you can find a list of plugins that are used um, in WordPress for social sharing. So let's see very quickly. Let's try. I'm sharing my screen now. So I'm inside WordPress on exercise 4, and there are quite a few number of articles here. Oh, this one is, yeah. When I look at the article like this, what I see, of course, is a nice article, blah, 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 blah. But where do I share this? If I want to share this article, there's no way I can do it. Unless I take this URL and then I copy it somewhere. So our objective now is to have a shareable button somewhere where we can easily share any content. This is what I'm going to do. Let's just add a plugin. This is in French, unfortunately. So here, I will look for, oops, sorry. I will add for a new plugin. No, what is this? A new plugin called the social sharing. Okay, so as usual, you will see many possibilities here. You have extension, blah, 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 social sharing, Grow by Medieval, and so on and so on. In my case, I will check which one has the maximum users. Like this one has 200,000, and that one has also 100,000. So these are good ones. And this has been updated 2 days ago. It's compatible with my WordPress version. So let's take this one. So I just install it. like any plugin. And when it's installed, I will just activate. So now that it's activated, I can see here the configuration. So SASE social share. Uh, if I click this, I might need to configure. I need to configure the plugin when after I install it, because there are so many parameters here. So it says, do you want a round button or a square or a rectangular? So I will take a square, and the size and so on and so on. The color. What else? A counter. We need a counter, of course. It will be on the right side. Yes. Okay, in this case, it's not a responsive. It won't be a responsive. And then here, what else also are the parameters? Okay, after I've done that, I can just say, okay, record, save, and it's done. Okay, yeah, there are some other tabs I forgot. Yeah. Yeah, of course you can put more than just one social sharing button. Instant for top of the content. Okay. Yes. Now you can also say I want to have the buttons at the top or at the bottom and so on. So for me, I would just put it. Oops. Oh. Okay, we'll keep it just like this. And okay, yeah, I will take Facebook. I will take Twitter. Yeah, I think that's enough. And you can add more here. So by clicking here, of course, alignment on top and at the bottom and so on. And when you are done, you just record. So now I will come back to my my article or my post, and let's say I take this one. I want to put a social share, social network button on that. So as you can see here, this has appeared. It hasn't been there before, but now there is something like this here because simply we have installed the social network thing. So if you don't want to have the social buttons, you disable it. But if you want to have it, then you leave it like this. And when you do update, if we look at this site, this page now, let's look at it. Okay, I hope it's not going to affect page. Okay, so now you see the difference between this previous page where you didn't have any way to share the article, and this where you have all the social link here. And yeah, we haven't put at the bottom, but just at the head. So here now you can spread. You can just click on Facebook and say, okay, send it. Click on Twitter and send it by using my account, and so on. This is the easiest and quickest way, as you can see here, to share using your account. best way to share a lot of content and very quickly through a lot of social network or social channels. We've seen that it has been quite quick. Huh? I've just shown that this process in few minutes. So you should be able to do that by your own. Just look for social sharing, and it will be activate. So now I think I've talked too much. Uh, Maybe it's time for uh, our participation now. Two questions. First question: who has already used the Google Analytics and the social sharing? That is the first one. Second thing, who wants to share or to present quickly the progress of their website or your social media channels also if you want? I think we can allocate 10 minutes for that, and then I will continue with a very short summary. So the floor is open. Who wants to start?